While the investigation is still underway into whether or not Aubrey's disappearance was in fact the result of a hate crime, we do know that that happens, especially among minority groups. According to the FBI, more than 4,900 people fell victim to hate crimes in 2019, motivated by race, ethnicity, or their ancestry. More than 3% were victims of anti-American, Indian, or Alaska Native bias. Another 1,400 victims were targeted due to their sexual orientation. 25% of them were victims of anti-lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender bias. There is a group working to shine a light on this issue. They are Missing and Murdered Dene, which serves the Navajo families and communities. And Jolene Holgate is here to talk to us more about this tonight. Jolene, we appreciate your time and highlighting, I think, something that is very underserved in terms of reporting and the attention that is paid to this group of people. You say that murdered and missing relatives of the Navajo Nation, for example, it's a crisis. So give us an idea of how big of a problem this is and has been.
Well, I know this issue has been referred to as an epidemic. I do want to make sure that we're utilizing the correct language and that this is a crisis that has been happening since the time of colonization. The magnitude on the Navajo Nation itself in the Four Corners area, just because it's so geographically big, over 27,000 square miles, makes it difficult for law enforcement response. It makes it difficult to track accurate data on what's really going on. In fact, one of the border towns that's nearing the Navajo Nation is Gallup, which is one of the top 2 urban areas in the United States of missing or murdered cases that are happening. So as we start these task forces, and start looking at ways, community solutions to really understand it. We don't know exactly what those dynamics that are causing this crisis, but we are starting to understand that a lot of it has to do with the lack of data tracking, the lack of resources, but also just the lack of support for families.
Let me into some of the challenges with trying to partner with law enforcement and also the media when someone goes missing, a Native American person goes missing, how the lines are drawn and how you communicate with those groups, why this group is so vulnerable. What are the biggest issues to trying to bridge that divide?
I think that the biggest bridge that we're working on now is just, I think, communication. A lot of the times the families aren't exactly sure how that process looks like when a relative goes missing. So what our community group does is we help families walk through that process on how to file a case, how do they communicate with the criminal investigator, and we're also in conversations with investigators on or near the Navajo Nation to see how this process can better be made. So our community group decided to create a solution through a community missing persons toolkit. So at the community level, that's kind of one way that we're addressing it. We're still in the process of really understanding it. Although this has been an ongoing crisis for several years, several generations, it's something that we're starting to understand right now.
In terms of law enforcement, I mean, especially some of these local law enforcement in small communities, I mean, they are overwhelmed with the amount of cases that they're covering and underwhelmed in terms of the staff they have to cover it. But when a person goes missing, specifically someone with a Native American background, the uncle in Aubrey's case said that they feel like second-class citizens. Has that been your experience with law enforcement? And what's the first step to try to fix that?
Yeah, it definitely is an issue. I think a lot of the times these cases are not prioritized. And I think it really has a lot to do with our ethnicity. Historically, I think Native American folks, as well as Black relatives, have not been prioritized when violence is committed against us. So I think that's the first issue, the first challenge that we're trying to overcome. And I think the second is really trying to get the stories out there to make these stories humanized as well as real. Some of the times when we work with law enforcement, if it's not in the data, it's not real to them. So what we do within our community group is making these stories come to life and utilizing our voices as a tool of advocacy to let these agencies know that this is happening and this is real. And this is information that's not being caught in the federal data or state data. So we're just really trying to fight for a place and to have these stories told, which we also can consider data.
Yeah, and I know you and your group is building your own database to be part of that solution. Jolene, we appreciate you coming on tonight, helping open our eyes to an issue that we should have been paying attention to a long time ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.